Welcome to the hottest podcast in the game.
What's up, guys?
It's your boy Trom, it's your muffin, the Milan Dachenko, the GOAT of podcast hosts.
Yes, sir.
I want to lie, guys. I'm going to be carrying this podcast today. Milan is a tired little baby.
Listen, man. I ain't bringing my A game, even though it's the fourth podcast. A very special day. I'll still talk, it's just I won't sound like I'm into it. Just because I woke up like 10 minutes ago. But listen, we move.
Do you have water by you?
Man, of course.
Do you have any electrolytes?
Bro, I drank a liter of orange juice already. I'm good.
Do you have some elk meat?
I've got elk meat. I've got fucking DMT on here as well. I've got beer. I've got everything, man.
Get some elk meat.
I've got a little P3 protein nuts by my side, the official snack of the UFC fight night. I've got Modelo. Shout out to the UFC, guys. Shout out to the UFC. Make sure you check them out. But alright, listen. First of all, obviously.
Hold on. What beer are you drinking? Hopefully it's a Coors Light.
Coors Light ain't paying me nothing, man. I'm gonna go home, have some Bud Light. But on our real, boys. Last week, or like last weekend, pretty much. UFC fight night. Nice little card. Wasn't anything like nuts, you know what I mean? Pretty small prelims and pretty small main card. Now I'm gonna be real. I slept through a lot of this because I was asleep, man. It's fucking late at night. I did manage to watch a little bit of the Gain fight, but Canelo's fight was on first, so I watched that, and then I managed to get on for the last like couple rounds. Sean will talk about more that in depth. First of all, let me talk about the Nikita.
Let's talk about Canelo. Let's talk about Canelo. You said you watched Canelo. What do you think of it?
Alright, cool.
What do you think about Canelo?
Man, he basically did everything we said in the last podcast. Call me Mystic Diachenko, yeah? Because I said he's going to keep a high guard and Canelo is just going to hit him with 1,000 uppercuts, even though he fucking dropped him with a 1-2. A beautiful 1-2, man. I don't know how this Andrim guy was in that ring with Canelo, but 10 minutes after he won, it's like everyone knew he'd win because the Ben Saunders fight was announced, which is very nice. And May cannot come quicker, man. See, Canelo, what's nice about him is he's a very active boxing champ, which is respectable.
He fights bums, though. This is my only problem with him. Like, the guy he fought, like, it just shows that, like, he knew he was going to win. Because, like, 5 minutes later, they announced who he was fighting. He was fighting Billy Joe Saunders next. But that fight, honestly, we called the uppercuts would be the key to victory. I think definitely they were, because not only was he using those uppercuts, he was just absolutely destroying his body. The amount of times he tapped that boy's liver was just... Disgusting. It was unsafe, to be honest. And then once he was doing that, whenever he would come in for those body shots, I'm not sure what his opponent's name was.
Yildirim.
Every time he would drop it, he would open Yildirim. Yildirim would open his guard or try and bring his hand down quickly, and you just get popped with an uppercut. It was just it was just a bit disgusting. I was surprised he lasted as long as he did, because he didn't even throw that much, did he? Like,
not really.
And then that 1-2 put him on his ass. And then
he quit on the stool, and he was disappointed to be leaving. Round. There was a video of him leaving the stadium, and he was all disappointed. But what do you expect, man, when your fucking last win was
inactive for 2
years ago, man?
As well.
Canelo's fought some decent names, though. He's fought Daniel Jacobs.
Oh, yes.
Sergey Kovalev, Callum Smith. The Triple G fights, which are very controversial. I'm not even gonna talk about them, man, because, bro, listen, anyone with eyeballs knows who won there. But anyway, now that sets up a Billy Joe Saunders fight versus Canelo,
30-0 Billy Joe Saunders, by the
30
way.
and 0. So it's a very fun fight to see. To be honest with you, I can't wait to watch it online. I'm gonna lie.
I think Canelo gets it done personally, but what do you think about that one, Milan? Do you think where do you think this one goes?
We'll see. This is gonna be complete opposite situation with the Yildirim fight because this Ben Saunders guy has something called head movement, and he's actually gonna try and evade Canelo's punches.
He's gonna try and hit
To be
Canelo too,
honest, I
probably.
can't envision uh, Saunders getting knocked down or like knocked out.
Yeah.
I see this going decision to someone, but again, man, I never envisioned Conor McGregor on the floor against Poirier, and look what happened. So, uh, fucking
Anything can happen in the fight game,
anything,
as
bro.
we've said before.
But speaking of boxing, man, hours ago, apparently the Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury fight is a done deal, and that we should be getting an announcement very, very soon. Basically, like saying it's official, giving us a date, man. Which I cannot
I
wait
want,
for, brother.
I want to see this fight. I want to. I personally, I think after the way we saw Andy Ruiz knock out Joshua, I think it shows that Joshua is obviously he can be chinned,
He's
you know,
human,
in that he's human, he can be chinned,
but so is
and
Tyson Fury, man.
he's not as elite of a boxer as we thought he was.
Mm.
He went into that he went into the second fight and he kind of just danced around him. It was a bit of a boring old fight, I can't lie. But like it was entertaining for the purpose that he was so good at moving and staying on his toes. He didn't let Andy Ruiz cut him off or anything, cut him into a corner, and he was just very good at like evading him. And he landed loads. But I think like, if you try and play that game with Tyson Fury, that's not
Exactly,
gonna work. If he
exactly.
tries to brawl with Tyson Fury, I think there's only one way that Anthony Joshua is going, and that is on the back foot because like you're not gonna push back a 280-pound
Bro,
guy. Do you know what I mean?
Tyson Fury is the GOAT at fighting at the back foot because that's the adjustment he made against Wilder. He saw in the 12th round, in the last round in the first fight, that basically Wilder was not only a trash boxer, yeah, but a trash boxer on the back foot. So he came out basically unrelentless pressure, and he didn't really have an answer for him. That's how he fucking beat him. And man, I
Yeah,
can't wait for it. It's gonna be like the biggest heavyweight fight in like this generation, essentially.
ever. I think
You
almost
think
ever.
ever, really?
See, the reason no, I think something we gotta realize with this fight is it is probably gonna be the biggest boxing fight ever because I think it'll probably do the most pay-per-view buys for the purpose that I think well obviously Connor and Floyd did probably will ever do the most. But I think if Connor Floyd had more time, it would have done double almost what it did. But the reason I think that the Joshua Tyson Fury is gonna do ridiculous numbers probably is the biggest fight we've ever seen in a long time anywhere.
That's true.
Maybe even ever I just think that because we're in a situation where there is pay-per-view buys, you know. The
Mm,
only way to see it the only way to see this fight is to watch it online or on pay-per-view or probably by the time it's on there'll probably be fans in the stadium, hopefully.
yeah.
Um and that's why I think it's so big because with social media, this is the biggest fight ever. I think because imagine
Jeez.
Tyson Fury Evander Holyfield 2 if there was Instagram and
Bro,
Twitter.
imagine any Mike Tyson fight with Instagram or Twitter, man. Mike would be the biggest.
This guy would have been tweeting this guy and DMing his opponent day and night. I'm gonna fucking eat you.
Man, that's
This
facts.
guy.
That's facts.
That's just why I think it's the biggest because social media brings that something different. Uh, it just allows it to be that much bigger.
And plus, man, it's not two washed up boxers. Although you could maybe
Yeah.
say that for Anthony, but he came back and he basically beat the man who beat him, man. You know, he avenged the
Yeah, he
loss
avenged
and
his
he did it
loss.
confidently.
Yeah.
He showed that he could make the right adjustments. Even though,
He,
let's be
yeah.
real, Andy Ruiz the money got to him after one fucking fight, and he got chubby and he lost the work ethic. Man,
Chubby-er.
have you seen that video, man, of him doing that little angle, the fucking high ass bird's view angle of him like looking at the camera, smiling, showing off his skinny physique? Man, he ain't tricking me anymore, man. He did that exact same shit before the second Anthony Joshua fight, where he took a nice picture like near the ring, sitting on the ring. He was looking all skinny, and then he comes in fucking like that, man. Bro, you ain't
300 fucking
show me
pounds
a
on.
face on picture. Nothing. Just take a picture, no editing, no filters, no nothing, and just put it on Instagram. Then we'll judge it, man. You little
I
bum.
think, to be honest, I don't think so. But so what we've got in the heavyweight boxing division is actually so interesting because we've got Usyk fighting the guy who knocked out the boy,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Dubois. Yeah,
I'm not sure what I'm not sure what his name is. The guy who's fighting.
Joe Lewis, I think.
Okay, we've got them two fighting. I think Usyk would win that, but we'll see because we obviously thought the boy was gonna beat
Yeah, Joe
the
Joyce.
guy.
Joe Joyce. Excuse me.
Joe Joyce obviously beat the boy, and
Yeah.
I thought the boy was gonna win that. And then we've got Povetkin probably fighting White. Is that confirmed?
Let me get this now.
I don't think that's confirmed yet, but it's definitely in the works.
Nah, it's confirmed.
Um,
They're fighting in
oh, it's
Gibraltar
confirmed.
at this
Oh
month,
yes,
27th of this month.
it's the Battle on the Rock or something,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, 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 yeah.
We were talking about that ages ago. I completely forgot about it, but that fight's happening.
Yes, sir.
And the winner of that, I think, could almost like if whatever Usyk is fighting could fight Usyk if Usyk wins. The winner of Usyk versus what did you say his name was Lewis, was it?
Joe Joyce.
Or Joyce, Joe Joyce. Sorry, the winner of Joe Joyce Usyk versus uh White and Povetkin. Because if Povetkin gets it done again, then you kind of just have to move along.
It kind of destroys White's
Dillian
career,
White,
innit? Because White's been
yeah.
the number one on the WBC list. He's basically kind of like a Tony Ferguson situation, where you're number one for so long and you just keep taking fights. Like eventually you're gonna meet that L, man, and you're gonna basically get fucked, man. And that's what happened here with White, where he got chinned with the most nastiest uppercut I've ever seen, the cleanest slip and uppercut I've ever seen
He'll
in
come
a
back,
game.
hopefully.
If he makes the
I
adjustments.
hope White. I don't honestly think that White beats Joshua or
But
Fury,
he deserves a title shot. That's the thing. He deserves it.
but yeah, I think he deserves the opportunity to win the belt because he was in line. So he was the champion. He lost it. He didn't fight. He didn't get a rematch or anything. I believe, right? He only fought Joshua once.
Yeah. And he got uppercutted
Yeah,
and fucked.
he got laid out, but he didn't get a rematch for his title. Um,
That's
which I thought was which I think about. I feel like every champion should have the opportunity. Maybe he didn't want to fight, and I'm uh, saying something wrong, but that's just how I see it anyway.
that's
But
if you get knocked down in a championship fight, you ain't getting that back, like the rematch, unless you're like
he,
unless you were the champ that got knocked out. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, but like he was the champ.
who?
He was the champ, and then
Dillian.
Joshua took it off him. Dillian White was the champ. He had
Oh,
belts.
oh, sorry, I was confused. All you're talking about. Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I think Dillian White. I think this guy's realistically, if we think about it,
He's only 32,
Dillian
man.
White.
He's fresh.
He could fight the winner of Usyk if he beats Povetkin. He could fight the winner of Usyk Joyce.
Yeah,
But and the thing is, he probably will fight one of them before instead of fighting Tyson or um fighting Tyson or Joshua. But I think here's my little bold boy prediction. I think that he he won't. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think if Usyk wins, then Usyk's fighting for the belt.
they're pushing Usyk to the belt so hard. It was meant to be
Yeah,
Usyk
because
versus
he's the
Anthony
mandatory.
Joshua for the fucking belt. But let's be real, if he would have fought him now instead of Tyson Fury, first of all, I would have lost all respect for Tyson Fury, man.
Out,
I mean, Usyk,
outrage,
man.
outrage. Fucking hell. But that's the thing.
Mm.
So it's gonna be Usyk. I think Usyk fights the winner. Well, maybe. I think if Joshua wins, but I don't see Joshua winning, to be honest. But anything can happen. Those 10-ounce
To be
gloves, the
fair,
heavyweights.
I think I have a bold prediction. I think when Tyson Fury, listen, I'm gonna be cocky here and say when instead of if. But I think when Tyson Fury wins, I think he's gonna retire. I don't think he's defending anymore. I think he's gonna win, retire, same as he did with Klitschko, but this time he's grown a lot more as a person. I think he's gonna like
You know what?
basically retire, like, because I think he knows, like, yo, I've done enough for this sport. I've made my money. I've made history. I just coming off the biggest history heavyweight fight ever. I'm just gonna dip pretty much, man. Let the heavyweight division play out for all these belts, and that's it, man.
You know what, Milan? I think the only possible fight if Tyson Fury wins, the only possible fight for him that would actually make any sense
Yeah,
is Anthony Joshua 2.
depends how he
That's the
wins.
only,
If it's a
it's the only fight. If he chins him, no. If he just goes through him,
if he does what he did in the
but to be
second
fair,
Wilder fight,
but
no.
to be fair, he has the Joshua would be like, well, I want to fight again, and he probably would get it because realistically,
Heavyweight
I
so
think Tyson
hard.
Fury would actually almost take it because if you think about it, if they fought a second time, that fight would be all about the zeros at the end of the
Well, he'd be
paycheck. That's all that
contractually
matters.
obliged to anyway because of that championship clause. So,
Yeah.
like, unless he has some serious dollar bills to just buy out a contract and like good lawyers and all, it ain't
Unless
happening, man.
unless Tyson Fury retires, he would have to fight him again.
I think he might retire. I think Tyson Fury is gonna be like, yo, listen, I chinned you once, man. There's actually no point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the thing
There's a
is,
need to like.
we're forgetting, he was gonna fight Klitschko again after he won the belts the first time. He was gonna fight
Exactly.
Klitschko for a second time, so he might come back if he wins. But listen, man, the heavyweight scene, I think we should talk about more in depth in a future episode when like these fights are about to happen.
We got so fucking sidetracked there.
Listen, fight
Guys,
night.
guys, guys. We were coming onto this to talk about fight night. Uh, we're gonna go on to Kansas and then we're gonna preview 259 for you guys a little bit, talk it because I'm excited about that.
Man,
But we just kind of got sidetracked, started talking about boxing
man, listen.
for
I
about 20 minutes almost.
so we're cutting
But okay,
fight night in fucking
no. We'll talk about
no,
fighting a
we're
little bit. Okay,
cutting
the only okay,
fight night into two fights basically. First of
okay,
all, the
okay.
Nikita Krylov fight versus Magomed Ankalaev. Now, this is one of the fights that I was actually very excited for because both guys very promising to the sport, especially
Put on a clinic. Put
Magomed
on.
Ankalaev. So Nikita's been around for a while, and Magomed 15-1. This guy's a fucking beast. But to be honest, it wasn't the most exciting fight to watch. It was it was a decent watch, John. I mean, it was a decent watch. I scored it as a split decision for Magomed Ankalaev, but it was basically uh, Nikita Krylov got the first round, like mainly striking. Magomed controlled in the second, and then third, he was basically controlling him on the cage and all, controlling him on the floor. That's what got him in the fight. And uh, not much to it as well. Like Magomed should probably get a higher opponent in his next fight. Nikita should definitely get someone decent as well. To be honest, I don't think he should come off because it wasn't like a dominating win. But looking at the rankings, he's number 9. He went down 1 from number 8. Magomed Ankalaev went up 4 from 11 to 7. So
Anthony Smith next, maybe.
I think so too because isn't Anthony Smith coming off a loss, right?
I think so. I could be wrong.
because he's
I'm
had a
very. Did
very,
he?
very
Did
rocky
he?
couple of last fights. He's coming off
Did
a
he
win
lose to
against Devin
Glover?
Clark. So maybe the Ankalaev fight
I thought
versus
he lost to
Smith,
Glover.
nice fight to make.
Makes
Then maybe
makes
Nikita
sense.
Krylov versus Johnny Walker actually. Build up Johnny Walker a little bit. I want to see that best fighter start winning
That'd actually be a nice little fight. I think so. Because Johnny Walker is going down. He's not doing very much.
fights. It's just
He was.
a very promising fighter in Johnny Walker.
I watched it. I watched this fight. I watched all of this fight, and it was actually like I'm a huge Cyril Gane fan. To be honest, I'm a big fan of this guy because I just love how he's so big and he looks like he could just knock anyone out if he wanted to. Or he like, but he's just too calm. Like, he goes in there, he's like, you know, I don't need to get hit or risk getting hit. Coming from a light, you know, because he doesn't weigh that much for a heavyweight. Like, oh, he doesn't weigh. Like, anyway, we'll move past that little
Yeah.
piece of bullshit he comes out with. But the Frenchman went out there. I scored the fight 50-45, and so did all the judges.
Mm.
It was a very clear Cyril Gane did not lose a round. He barely even lost a second of this fight. He he landed more strikes, I'm looking at this, than Rosenstrike even attempted. And I was watching this, he got 2 takedowns, which was really like, he got a really cool trip, and then he almost got like a rear naked him. And just watching this fight for me, like it was so aesthetically pleasing because when he went for the rear naked, then they stood and he threw, I believe, and then Rosenstrike went for like a big fucking loop. And obviously, if Rosenstrike is throwing at you like that, you get out of the way. Cyril Gane covered up so nicely. He parried all the shots. Like there was never a moment in this fight, I thought, when Cyril Gane was like in trouble. Like he kept popping out that jab and he didn't even like he wasn't even he didn't even follow up the jab a lot, which I thought he could have afforded to. He just kept throwing the jab out, and I felt like he could have gone 1-2. You know, he could have just done his basic 1-2. You know, but he just kept going with his simple jab. I like how he was switching stances. He always does, and he was just throwing southpaw that southpaw jab sometimes and the regular jab as well. But yeah, it was just overall. A lot of people have been giving this fight a lot of hate. I'm pretty sure you've heard Milan.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
just saying it wasn't entertaining. It was boring and all. But like, you can't expect Cyril Gane to go in there and just put his hands down, change up his whole fight stance to be entertaining and just brawl with Jairzinho Rosenstrike, who's got like literally
The man,
like bricks for
the man.
hands.
But we
You know
saw
what I
what he
mean?
did to Alistair. That's all you have to say. We saw what he did with
Yeah, like in
Alistair,
the
man.
fifth round as well. In the fifth round, like this is
Exactly.
like there was never a point in the like that's something that I think Gane had to be very wary of. That there was not a point in this fight that he could take the foot off the gas. You know,
Facts. That's what Alistair. That's what
because
happened with Alistair. Look what happened, man. That
exactly,
slight bit of it.
Alistair, yeah, Alistair Overeem realized he had won the fight. You know, I think he had done. I haven't watched that fight fully, but he had 3 rounds at least, probably 4, in the fifth, going into the fifth round, and he just decided
Mm.
to take foot off the gas.
And you can't do
And
that.
he's
You
just,
can't do that.
he can't do that at all.
And you'd expect more from a
Definitely not.
veteran of the game, such as Alistair Overeem. But
Cyril Gane, honestly, the way he's been fighting, you would think he's a veteran of MMA. This guy goes for big boy takedowns all the time. He went for a submission on Jairzinho, a choke as well. You think this guy's big wham neck? You think he could choke that? Like, honestly, I was so surprised. If you watch that fight back, guys, if you watch that fight back, I'm sure you can find yourself somewhere to watch it. The the way when he took him down the second time, he picked him up and kind of swept his legs out almost, and his legs went up in the air. Who picks up? He just picked him up. Like, it just shows how strong this guy is. Like, Cyril Gain, for me, is 110% going places.
That's true. And
Like,
you,
Cyril Gain number 4 in the rankings right now. And I was thinking about this. I think his next fight is Volkov, Alexander Volkov, because these are two tall strikers. Volkov obviously a little bit more lanky, but I think he fights Volkov, and the winner of that kind of goes into the mix because I don't think Derek Lewis particularly wants anybody. I mean, Cyril Gain, Derek Lewis would be a great fight, I think, but I don't think at the same time
Derek would
that
take it.
Derek Lewis is gonna. Derek would like, but he wouldn't take it because he doesn't want a 5 rounder. And Cyril Gain would be a 5 rounder because
Depends what
or a
card you put it
co-main.
on.
And
Maybe Derek would say, "Listen, man, I don't want a main event a fight night again." Which,
but he's number 2.
yeah, I know, but listen, man, 259 has some crazy names that are even in the prelims. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Derek
That's all I'm
Lewis
gonna
though,
say.
Derek Lewis is the number 2 ranked heavyweight in the world, and you know the Derek Lewis star power. He sells. You know what I mean? He
Well,
sells.
maybe if you put him in a fight where, for instance, Francis versus Miocic are happening, but that's such a close fight. I don't think it will. But
Nah, nah, nah. You couldn't do that.
guys, I just want to correct myself real quick. Anthony Smith is already, he already has a fight scheduled April 24th against number 12, Jimmy Crute, Jimmy the Crute, Brute Crute.
That's a bit dead.
So there you go. So the
I suppose if he wins that, I think Ankalaev could probably the winner of. I mean, I don't know if the UFC would want to do that, but I think the winner of uh the 259 fight, Rakic and Thiago Santos would be a meritable.
that would be a
So
pretty
do
cool
you,
fight.
let's just,
I like that.
I think we move on to. I think let's move on to 259. Actually, no. Before we move on to
Yeah, I
259,
was gonna say
Khamzat Chimaev is officially, well, unofficially retired from MMA.
the shortest retirement, man. This guy's breaking records in the UFC already. Man, this guy, first of all, we talked about it before, how like he's been having like really bad symptoms of COVID pretty much, you know what I mean? And a couple of days ago, or like a day ago even, jeez, it was very recent. He put up on his story. It was in the morning, and I woke up in the morning. I was checking out Instagram like I do usually, looking at MMA news and all. I sent it to you, Sean, the Instagram story, but pretty much he deleted it like an hour or two later. But pretty much, I'll just get it now and I'll translate it real quick because obviously, Hamza. I'm not gonna lie, I should have this prepared, but listen. It is basically him
It's cool. It's cool.
with blood in the sink. Like you could tell he spat it out, and he's basically saying like, guys, look after yourselves and your family. I don't know what like this illness is, and it's not like that hard. That's that easy to live through. So we could tell that he is suffering, but there have been other people such as Kadyrov, the leader in Chechnya, and Dana White basically saying, nah, he was just emotional. He wanted to train, but he couldn't, so he put that on his story. It's just it's a wild situation to be honest with you because uh, you kind of don't expect something like it took me by surprise. Hamzat saying, I retire because this guy has been, he's a huge hype job. Not a hype job, but like he's got so much hype behind him. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Of all people as well, you wouldn't expect him to be like, "I'm done,"
yeah, it was just
because
kind of
he's like
crazy, man.
he's such a mentally strong person. I see him as.
That's true.
Clearly, he's just a guy who wants to get in there and train. Um, it's actually, it was almost like I saw it and I was like, because the fact that he said in his little description, he said that, um, we didn't get the belt, but living on is more important than that. But
You could tell at what
to me,
stage he's in right now, where he's just
yeah,
kind of like
that it was
he's
upsetting
growing as a
to see.
person as well. You could tell he's growing as a person during this. But I think we're
Yeah,
definitely gonna see him come back, be the old Hamza that we know and love, come back. Hopefully, this illness will just be a thing in the past, something that we can laugh about later. But right now, it's obviously something we can't, and we could just hope that he recovers as quick as possible, man. That's all I'm gonna say. But
I feel bad for this guy, straight up.
that's because you
He
hear all these
doesn't he
fighters
doesn't deserve this shit.
saying, "Oh, we got COVID," but like a couple of weeks later, they'll be like, "Hey, we're recovering. We're gonna have some fights laid out." Like Leon Edwards, obviously he had lingering effects, but like he's gone better and he's gonna main event the card. But obviously that's not the case with Hamza because he has definitely been the unlucky one out of everyone, and like
Of course,
he's definitely one of the people that you don't want to have lingering effects with because he's the guy you want to watch. Like everyone would have expected him to
superstar.
fight like 4 times this year. If it wasn't for COVID, he would have fought 3 times.
Five, 4 or 5 times easily.
Facts,
He would have gone out there and he would have just fought anyone.
facts. But
Disappointing. Like we would have seen him in a few months almost. We would have seen him he was fighting in the 27th of March against Leon, and now Leon's fighting Bilal Muhammad. Um, but I mean, what else can you really say on this topic? It's really sad to see, obviously,
it is, but
especially with such a guy who just wants to get out there and fight.
yeah,
It's upsetting. I feel bad for the guy, and
but
I hope we can see him back in the octagon this year. And even if we don't, I'm okay with that. But as long as he is back in the octagon, that's where I stand on it.
that's
As long
true,
as he
man.
is back in the octagon eventually, but get back in when he's ready. And I know it's gonna be, especially someone like him, like Dana White said, this kid just wants to do back to back fights all the time, and he went in
Hmm.
and trained and got emotional. Like he clearly shouldn't be training because he coughed up blood after his training. Like I'm not a doctor or anything, but um, I know that
It's
what,
not a
what I
good thing
saw
to see.
was what I saw was it was he was coughing up blood because he got pneumonia, I believe it was, from COVID, and then the pneumonia caused something else. I can't remember what it's called, and then that is what was making him cough up the blood. Um, pneumonia as well and COVID, two fatal diseases. You know,
Yeah,
like he is, he's a really, honestly, someone like Kamzat it's
man.
disappointing to
Listen,
see.
man. Shout out
He's
Hamza.
he is
Listen, Hamza. I know
he's
you're listening.
still number 14,
I know you're
still number
listening, my
14
man.
in the
I know
rankings
you're listening. Just
from America.
I know you're listening to this, and listen, bro. Just recover. You'll be good, brother. You'll be good.
Kamzat, if you want to come out to Ireland and do some serious training,
See, he already did. Remember, he already did to come out to Connor and fight him. So if you want to come here again, maybe even come on the podcast. Who knows, man? We'll see. We'll see. But listen, bro. Just
Kamzat Chimaev would be someone. Kamzat Chimaev would actually be so cool to have on the podcast.
hey, listen. Uh, I think we gotta definitely. We have a bright future when it comes to UFC guests. We already have some planned stuff
Of
for you
course, I
guys,
hope.
but we're not gonna mention any names yet. But we definitely do have some stuff planned for that. Like far ahead, guys. We're already planning, boys. We're already planning. But again, shout out to Hamza. Listen, bro. I know you're listening. Just focus on
Of
recovery,
course, he's
man.
listening.
Focus on recovery. Don't let it get too much to you, and just
Watch some Netflix, my guy.
facts. And just
Man, I
just
could
chill, bro.
recommend Kamzat a few shows on Netflix now. There's a show called Behind Her Eye. I watched it with Hannah. This show. I kid you not, will mess with your head. Kamza, I know you're listening because what else would you be doing? You're not training anyway. Um, listening to us. Listen to us, Kamza. Okay? Behind Her Eye on Netflix. DM me after this, by the way, Kamza, whenever you listen to it, whenever you watch it. DM me, hit me up, brother. This is #1 TV show. Honestly, man. Anyone watching? Anyone listening? Uh,
Put in the
Behind
comments
Her Eye on
below.
Netflix. It's a cracking show,
Forget about
honestly.
anything else that we've talked about in the podcast. Talk about the movie in the comments below, guys. We don't want to hear your opinions about the fights, just the movie. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we don't care about your opinions. No, I actually would look to that. This is something about the podcast I actually love. We've not got much of an interaction at the moment from anyone watching, but I feel like over time, you gotta give these things time. And honestly, I'm passionate about talking about this stuff. It's fun to talk about.
But we're still gonna do it regardless.
We're gonna talk about this shit regardless if you guys watch it or not. Um, and you know, if people do watch it and they do comment down below, there's just more to do because like it's just a little bit of interaction. Maybe we give a little bit of debate in the comments or have somebody on the show if they think if they have opinions and all, you know. That's just the
Yeah.
kind of where I think this could go. But if no one watches, no one watches. We're gonna keep putting up episodes and littering all over YouTube with these episodes. Um,
Facts.
and yeah, it's interesting enough. And so we talked about Kamzat. Now let's talk
259,
about
baby. Oh,
we have
Lord
been
have mercy.
oh man
Oh, Lord.
we have been trying not to talk about this one for so long because
Oh,
we didn't
dear,
want to
man.
ruin it. We didn't want to. We've been trying not to talk to each other, and we've been trying not to talk like about this on the podcast. It's been so hard. On the early prelims. Let me count this up. There is one,
7, 6, 6,
two,
Jesus.
3 guys. There's 3 fighters with an O in their record, and like to me, that just shows that they've put guys on the early prelims who have got something about them. I don't know any of them. Honestly, there's a lightweight who's 6-0. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce his name. I don't want to disrespect the guy. And then there's a guy called Sean Brady, and the reason I can say that because he's probably where is he from?
Canada, I'm
He's
guessing.
an
I'm just guessing Canada, man.
America, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. My bad. My bad.
Sean Brady. He's fighting Jake Matthews, the most white people I've ever heard of.
Welterweight, bro. The white division right there, man. WW. W
That's
for
not the white
welterweight,
division.
W
It's
for white.
Kamaru Usman rules that division.
Kamaru Usman would clean up anyone. He cleans up anyone.
Kamaru
But
Usman
listen, man, we'll have GOAT talks later on. It was scheduled for this week, but I just completely forgot. 2 Fight Line is happening this weekend. But anyway, Carlos Olberg is the last guy with an O on his record, 5-0. Not incredibly established, but that's what you do on the early prelims. You establish these fighters, and you just try and build them up, which is what I respect.
He's a New Zealand mixed martial artist.
One name that
probably in Izzy's camp.
One name
maybe
that I can kind of what's the word? That seems familiar to me. Is Tim Elliott and Jordan Espinosa.
Yo. One sec.
They kind of seem familiar.
Can I just hit you with something real quick? One sec. Carlos Olberg, sorry, you were talking about. From Auckland, New Zealand. Apparently, he's only 3-0.
Why does he have a 5 on his record then, man?
I'm on Sherdog right now.
Carlos the
and
Marvelous.
His most recent win was as a round 1 finish on Dana White Contender Series. Referee Herb Dean, round 1, punches was the knockout.
That's actually insane. How did he?
So he
2011, 7 year gap, 2018, and then 2 years after he gets a KO finish. Oh my days, that's actually kind of nuts. And he's 30
he
years
looks
old.
fucking jacked. He doesn't he? He looks jacked.
That's insane.
Looks
Yo,
big.
UFC, fix up your shit, man. Come on. But anyway,
He's coming. He's
man,
coming for that
the prelims,
for Izzy at light heavyweight.
the prelims are looking a bit nasty. I
Oh,
recognize
Derek Rose.
two
I know two
fights.
names personally. Yeah.
The first being one that I was actually very happy to see. Joseph Benavidez versus Askar Askarov. Now, I
Joseph Benavidez. What?
Joseph Benavidez went from fighting like 7 fucking thousand times for the title to go into the prelims, but against a fairly good opponent. I'm not gonna lie. I've watched this
12
guy.
and 0.
I've watched this guy Askar Askarov in like a previous
Seven
event in like
submissions.
the prelims as well. I was like watching the whole card, and this guy caught my eye because he's actually fighting pretty well. And then what one thing surprised me, he's actually a deaf fighter. He's like proper deaf, so he can't hear anything. And to be honest, like you
Oh.
think that's kind of like what like one thing that I saw in his fight is like uh the fight was still ongoing, the round was still ongoing, but his opponent came out for a handshake after like something like happened, like I think like not a foul, but like an eye poke or something, and people were like the commentators were like, don't do that because he might think like, oh, the fight's over because he can't hear the bell. But listen, man, this guy, he's very quick, and I think this is a perfect fight to put him in to establish himself. Someone against a previous title contender uh, of Joseph Benavidez. I like that fight.
You
I'm
know
not
what,
gonna
man?
lie. I like that fight.
You know what? This guy, I just want to say again, 7 submission victories, 3 KOs, 2 decisions. He's 5'5", 125 pounds. Now, he's got one draw on his record to Brandon Moreno, who's fighting for the belt,
So there you go, man.
which
He's fought high
back in
caliber fighters, man.
2019, he's already fought high caliber. He fought Tim Elliott and Alexandre Pandoja. I was about to say Pandejo. But that's he's 2 unanimous decisions back to back, split draw to Brandon Moreno, and then before those last 3 decisions, he was on a absolute spree of just finishing people.
He's
Um,
a fun fighter to watch, man. I'm telling you.
he's only 3 decisions in his last 3 fights. Everything else was finishes, and they weren't in the. He's actually never finished someone in the UFC. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get his first finish. I mean, if he's gonna finish someone, it might as well be Joseph Benavidez, Megan O'Leary's baby boy. Um, it might as
Oh
well.
dear.
Might as well. Like Joseph, I just honestly, Joseph Benavidez, like how 5 times, right? He's fought for the belt.
I'm pretty
He's got a
sure, man.
he's got a record for the most times fighting for the belt. He fought Davis. I don't know how he fought Davis and Figueiredo twice. That makes it confuses me because he fought him the first time. Obviously, Davis and Figueiredo missed weight. Okay, Joseph Benavidez had a chance to win the belt. He got knocked unconscious in the
Mm.
second round. Like he was dead. So at that point in my head, I'm like, you know what? I would have just done Figueiredo versus someone else with the belt because like Joseph Benavidez like wasn't defending the belt. He just got absolutely clowned. So I wouldn't have done that fight again. Essentially, Davis and Figueiredo's first title defense, and then he taps him in the first round. Um, just to be honest, he hasn't really. He lost to Sergio Pettis. He's beaten Henry Cejudo, which just is kind of like confusing. But
We move, we
so
move.
technically, he's the flyweight champ at this point.
But th-
He
this fight is a hidden gem that I was pleased to see. Another hidden gem in this card. Oh dear. I was so confused when I saw this. Dominic Cruz is on the prelims against Casey Kenny. Dominic Cruz,
Makes no sense.
one
Confusing.
of the, so in many
Bantamweight
people's
GOAT
eyes, the GOAT of the bantamweight
of
division,
bantamweight. Yeah.
and he's fighting on the prelims, bro. That is
Confusing. But like the it shows how big the bantamweight division is, though.
that's true.
Is Dominic Cruz ranked number 11?
That's upsetting. From a title shot against Henry
The
Cejudo
disrespect.
to the prelims, that is a fall from grace, man. But again, a
I
nice fight
think
to
if Dom,
reestablish him
yeah,
and get him back
if
into
Dom
the
wins
title
this, he needs
picture.
one more fight when he gets the belt. Honestly, I think you could easily do Dominic Cruz on 2 fight skid. He hasn't won in 4 years.
But like the last, like I don't want to say it was stopped prematurely, but like let's be
No,
real,
I
the
agree.
last fight was stopped prematurely.
I 100% agree. It's just like, for me anyway. Why I think that I think he has to like fight he just should fight, what's his name again? He should have fought Cejudo again. Cause
Nah,
like it
Cejudo's
didn't
gone,
that
man.
didn't I know, but like Cejudo should have fought him again because that didn't prove to me anyways
The guy's the king
that
of
you're
cringe,
that
bro. He got a cringy finish and he's gonna roll with it.
I know, it's, to me it didn't prove that he was like that much better anyway.
Anyway, main
I'm
card.
looking at Dominic Cruz's
Oh, never
record.
mind.
He beat Demetrius Johnson.
These bantamweights, the top have fought each other, and it's kind of crazy when you look into it more because like they've all fought each other and they've all beaten each other. So it's kind of nice, like nuts looking at the records. But
I would love to see. So Dominic's obviously 22-3. He's facing Casey Kenny,
sorry,
who we cannot look past. That's Casey Kenny. Casey Kenny. Who is he and where is he from? He's an American mixed martial artist, ladies and gentlemen.
from Portland,
And
Indiana.
let's see what his fight. He must be on a fight winning streak. He's on a 3 fight win streak. Um,
Second dan
he
black
lost to
belt
Merhab
in
Duchavelli.
he's a black belt in judo and a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's 29. That's insane.
He's got a lot of wins. He doesn't lose, like he's not got any skids or anything.
Respect to
16
him.
and 2, 9 decisions, 5 taps, 2
Again,
knockouts.
big fight for him. Big fight.
An interesting one.
But
Nonetheless, it'd be interesting to see if Casey Kenny can rise to the occasion, and it'd be interesting to see if our boy Dominic Cruz can come back
that's
and
true.
get a W and maybe start to pursue the belt again. But let's talk about
Main card.
the main card.
Stacked.
Let's get on to it.
I think this episode will be the first that definitely goes a whole like a lot over the 1 hour, but it's cool. It's calm.
Thiago Santos,
First fight, Thiago Santos versus
Alexander
Rakic.
Rakic.
Big fight. Two people who are top of the leaderboard in the light heavyweight division. Like I don't want to be mean, yeah, but the light heavyweight division is a division that is not quite exciting for people to watch, to be honest with you. We got big names though. We got Teixeira, we got Santos, we got Reyes. Man, we have a bunch of names.
Santos coming off a loss, I believe, actually.
We have a bunch of names, but unfortunately, there's not like a spark. Israel is basically that spark. But I'll talk about him. We'll talk about him later. But I
Thiago
reckon
Santos, man.
the winner, two big light heavyweights, yeah. With I think it's gonna be a banging fight to start off the main card, and I think
Santos
winner of that
is
fight.
coming
To
off
be
a
honest,
loss.
I'm already planning
Two
ahead.
losses.
Maybe should fight Gilbert Teixeira, I think, or Dominic Reyes should fight the winner to try and reestablish himself.
Yes, I agree with that.
because
Something
sorry.
interesting about Thiago Santos. He so in his last few he beat Kevin Holland, which is just a nice little name to throw in there. Everyone knows Kevin Holland at this point. Middleweight contender now.
Mm,
Um, he beat Jimmy Manua. If you don't know him, what are you doing with your life? Like Jimmy Manua, like kickboxer, just
bro,
he's
you
a
are
great
obsessed with
fucking kickboxer.
kickboxers, man.
Current record, I know. Stop. I'm sorry, man, but Jimmy Manua, like honestly, okay, at the moment he's on a bit of a skid. We'll say he's on a four-fight skid. Um, but this guy, I don't know why. He just intrigues me so much.
Mm.
He was just so much hype coming into the UFC, and he frankly didn't really live up to it. He came in, went on a went on a three fight, then he lost to Alex Gus, then he beat Jan Blachowski, and then he fought Anthony Rumble and lost, obviously, like come on. And then he went on a two-fight win, and now he's ever since then, since 2017, he hasn't fought since 2019, but ever since then he's on a four-fight skid, and he lost to Jan and Thiago and Rakic. Um, but the fact that like just beating such a good guy, and both of them beat him by KO
Mm.
as well, which just for me anyway, you got that shows how good and how hard this Thiago Santos guy hits. Because Thiago Santos not only knocked out Jimmy Manua, someone who I enjoy to watch, used to enjoy to watch anyway so much, um, he knocked out Jan, the champ, and he didn't just knock him out, he left him uncon like he went floppy dead fish on the floor.
Fireworks
I don't know
is
if you
the
remember
way
that,
I would
but
describe this fight. Fireworks. There's definitely
Rakic,
it's
a
gonna be a
beast.
finish. I think it's gonna be a finish.
I would be surprised. Well, at the same time, you know, Rakic now.
I think so,
Let's
to
be
be honest
real.
with you, because yeah,
But let's be realistic though. This fight could not. It could at the same time could be a a regular kind of bout
you
because
can't do that
like
when your division is so like is not on the map.
I
You
know,
have to
but at
put your
this but
division on
like
the
the
map.
heavyweight I know, but if you look at the heavyweights, the same thing happened. Like obviously I don't want this to happen. Don't get me wrong, but Rakic, by the way, actually I'm looking at this now, part of American Top Team. Um, but like the way that Gain and Rosenstrike went about, like we thought that was going to be a knockout guaranteed, two big boy strikers. But what happened was Gain went out there, dominated it all. Like what could easily just happen is Thiago Santos goes out there and just kicks this kid's legs off for rounds, or Rakic could just go out there because Rakic is a great kickboxer, kind of Muay Thai kind of guy. He loves he's great in general, but that's just what I could see happen. I could see that happening, but I think that I'm gonna make a slight little prediction right now.
Go for it.
I'm gonna go a Thiago Santos win, even though I rate Rakic very highly. I'm gonna go Thiago Santos win.
You know what? I'll probably agree with you, but I'm gonna go with the finish. Thiago Santos, to be honest with you. I'm gonna go bold. I'm gonna say round one KO flatline
Oof.
for Thiago Santos. Round one.
Now let's put something out there. I would not be surprised if we were wrong.
But again, man,
I would not. Rakic has never lost by KO, but he's
Rakic
been
better prepared to get
he's got that
KO'd, man.
style for me. For me, he's got that style. Like he, so in his last six anyway, in his UFC fights, the first two were unanimous decision victories. Then he got two finishes. Okay, and
Uh-huh.
then he lost on decision, and then he won on decision to Anthony Lionheart. Now, this to me shows that Rakic is willing to go the distance, and I think at time this could lead to him almost becoming complacent maybe, and then Thiago Santos will just fucking. You can't take the foot off the gas and go for a decision with Thiago Santos. This is going to be a war, I think, because Santos came in there and put severe pressure on John Jones.
True, but
You
against the
know,
fight game, you never know.
it's the fight game. We never know. That's what I mean. Um, Thiago. Now, something I'm seeing now that's actually quite interesting to me is this fight. Um, there's a significant height and reach disparity with Rakic having being 6'5" and Santos being 6'2". Now they're in centimeters the reach here, but with a near 200 centimeter reach from Rakic 198 to Santos' 193. The I think that's going to be another place where Rakic is going to feel like he has that distance and he could get sparked.
Mm.
If he lets Santos inside lets it in too close. Um, but this is going to be a very interesting. I am looking. It's been one of the fights I've been looking forward to the most because neither guy is extremely hot right now. Like Thiago's coming off 2 losses, and this is like Thiago Santos. Like, come on, how is he coming off losses?
Yeah.
Like he lost to Glover by a submission. To be fair to him, but Rakic is only coming off a one fight kind of win, and that was back in August 2020 last year. Um, and he lost to Volkan Ozdemir, who has not fought in a little bit. He has not fought since summer. He hasn't fought since the Usman Masvidal card, and he lost. Um, so it'll be very interesting for me to see this fight. Um, do you stand by your prediction, Milan?
Yeah, man, of course.
You stand by that Thiago Santos round one
Listen,
finish.
man, I'm known for wild predictions, and some of them come into fruition. You know what? All of them come into fruition because I always predict these things, man. And I'm telling you, round one finish for Thiago Santos. I'll even say what punch it is.
Also,
Overhand right.
there's a significant age disparity, almost 10 years to separate them. It's 8 years separates these guys, I think about. Um, uh, it is going to be an absolute brawl, I
Cool
think.
fight. But
I,
one of the fights,
it's
the next
a very
fight,
good fight.
is the fight that I'm looking forward to the most. The guy who Khabib is claiming is going to be the champ at the end of 2021.
He's
Now, listen,
picked.
Khabib, I don't want to piss on your parade here, but I don't think number 14 Islam Makhachev is going to be anywhere near the belt unless he's going to be holding it for you while you go into the ring. But man, Islam Makhachev finally fighting against non-ranked Drew Dober. Man, I want to watch Islam Makhachev fight. God damn, it's been a while. And it's just, anytime you see any of these guys that like are associated with Khabib, we watched Usman, right? Umar, excuse me. We watched Umar and Nurmagomedov fight. The fucking Dagestani Bruce Lee, the guy who's fucking throwing insane kicks. There's just these guys are fun to watch, man. These guys from fucking
They're
uh,
just built different.
that region in Russia, man. It's fun to watch,
Dagestan.
and especially someone who
So
Khabib rates very highly. He's only 29. He rates him really highly. He's basically the second brainchild of Khabib's dad. Khabib's dad was always saying that this guy's definitely gonna be champ after Khabib. So he has a lot of pressure on his hands, and I reckon uh, last couple of fights he definitely does control. When you train with Khabib all your life, and like in that region again, you're definitely gonna control the fight, and I think that's what's gonna happen against Drew Dober. He's gonna just either finish him ground and pound, sub him, or just control him for the decision. It's been such a while since I last saw Islam. He might have just gotten better over that time, but Islam's gonna win that fight, in my
yeah.
opinion. Not in my
Something
opinion.
for
He
me
will
with
fight.
Islam.
He will win.
Something for me with Islam. Um, I feel like something that I heard Daniel Cormier come out and say was he felt that if Islam and Khabib were to fight in wrestling only, he thought Islam would win. Um, And this to me is very interesting
Islam's a pretty crazy
for
wrestler. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen him.
for numerous of reasons. But the thing with Islam for me as well, that I think that the whole dependence of Khabib on his grappling was his key to success. Um, Now, literally, I think that this guy has not fought since 2019, and all for me anyway that has done is that has given him more time to work on his grappling and his stand up, and I think he has got a much better stand up than Khabib. He's obviously that round one TKO he has, sorry, not TKO, flat out KO he has. Um, Yeah, like he's got good stand up. Now I think that is his own. Oh, he has got three knockout finishes, I believe. Yeah, but I think that that's something that he's gonna be going for a bit more because I think he knows he can stand up with these guys. You know, he's on their level.
Yeah, because if anything,
And
he'll just go wrestle. That's the thing. When you're a wrestler,
I think that's
it's
but
striking
I think that's
chaos.
something that could ruin him as well. I think that's something that could like mess him up a little bit because like he thinks he could stand up with everyone and
Yeah.
he probably can't. Like he stood up in the UFC with someone, Adriano Martins, and he got knocked out. You know, like he's got the last time Adriano Martins won a fight was against Islam Makhachev, and that was back in 2015.
Islam got stopped. Islam.
And
That's one thing
he's
with Islam. I don't
he's
want
fought
to
five
shit on
times
him,
since then.
but Islam, he ain't a perfect fighter because he ain't got the perfect record. He's 18-1. He got stopped, but listen, man, he's on a fucking winning streak.
Got
He is
knocked out
definitely
by a
someone to watch.
journeyman.
He's definitely someone to
Just
watch,
saying.
though. He's definitely someone to watch. And
Of
I'm gonna
course,
say,
he got knocked out by a journeyman though. That's
I'm
all I'm saying.
I'm gonna
And
go
he got knocked out by a guy who lost to Donald Cerrone. Like
this
Donald
man.
Cerrone, he fought back in 2014, and Donald Cerrone knocked him out with a head kick. Are we surprised it was a head kick? No. But this guy, like, he went through, he built his way up, got to the UFC, and he had a few fights in the UFC. The last time he fought in the UFC was 2017, and then he got dropped because obviously he's not the most amazing fighter. He was on a two fight win before he fought Islam, but this guy was never anywhere near the belt, you know?
Listen, my
And
prediction for this Islam fight.
he beat a very young Islam. I think Drew Dober, though, sorry, I'm going on a bit, but Drew Dober is by no means a nobody.
True,
Drew
but
Dober's on a
again,
three fight win. His last three fights have been stoppages inside the first two rounds. So his last fight was in the second, and the two fights before that were in the first round. Now, personally, I see this fight going one of two ways. I think Islam is going to get too overconfident on his feet, and I think he might get cocky because I feel like he would have an ego. I don't feel like he would be as humble as Khabib, you know? And I feel like he could get complacent and get knocked out. But personally, and what I genuinely think will happen, I think that Islam will dominate this fight and he will walk away with either a submission
yeah,
or a
yeah.
unanimous decision victory.
I think
Is my view and opinion.
Islam will have to be stupid to go in there and think he's a fucking kickboxing champ against Drew Dober. Again,
Yeah,
you said Drew Dober ain't a nobody, but you're forgetting Islam ain't a nobody either, and he's gonna come in there.
Drew Dober.
He
Yeah,
might go in for a little bit, maybe a minute or two, try and strike it out. Gonna feel him out, but
of
obviously
course.
he has the wrestling to fall back on, and I think to be fair, I think he's just gonna grind this out to a unanimous decision, in my opinion. I think that's what's gonna
You
happen.
know, something else, if I could just point it out real
Go
quick.
for it, my man.
The last three times that Drew Dober has lost has been via submission. And that has been via armbar, rear naked, and guillotine. So this guy unless he's been hitting the gym and really working on that, this guy gives up his neck. This guy gives up his arms. You know, he's probably I wouldn't say reckless, but he doesn't seem like the most intelligent grappler. In the sense that obviously he's probably a great grappler, but he obviously has been tapped 3 times in the UFC.
Yeah.
And I think that this could be a problem for him, especially fighting someone like Khamzat Chimaev. And
Hamzat
Khamzat is
Chimaev.
bigger than him as well. Not Khamzat. That is so racist. I feel like that's racist, is it? I'm about. Sorry. Is that racist? I don't know if that's racist or like what
No.
is that? Because they're both just. It's probably a little bit racist, but like they're both just Russian. So I get it because he's Chechenian as well. So, that's Russian. Is it?
Bro.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Hamzat.
Islam Makhachev, my humble apologies. But yeah, he's fighting Islam. I think Islam gets it done early,
Facts.
or if not early, then it's G.
Listen,
Because Islam's just bigger than this guy.
the
So,
next fight, the first title fight out of 3, Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. This fight is minus 110 apiece. There's no favorites and there's no underdogs in this fight. Both are equal to win this fight, which I thought was very interesting.
I'd agree.
And
I
Sean,
agree.
I watched Aljamain Sterling's fight against Sandhagen today. Sandhagen, who is a fucking beast in that cage. He's a beast in that cage. And man, he's quick. He is so quick. He went from striking to going on the cage to taking his back instantly, going for that neck crank,
Choking him.
fucking it up, but he had that body triangle. Then he got that neck and basically made him tap and go out at the same time. And Peter Yan is a fucking big boy fighter, man. Russian guy. I watched this last fight. Impressive performance. Man, I don't know.
He puts the pressure.
This shit is
brings the pace.
This shit is gonna be fireworks, I think, because the bantamweight division it's a fun division because with heavyweights, you know there's gonna be knockout power, but slower shots. You know what I mean? Like you can expect people like throwing fucking wild bombs and shit, basically in Ganu, yeah. But with the bantamweight division, these guys are much smaller, so they have a lot more energy, and bro, they are quicker. They're fucking more agile. They can throw more shots, more volume, which I think is nuts. And man, this is gonna be a long ass fucking card because each of these fights is gonna be 5 rounders. And to be fair, I don't know how this fight's gonna go, but I'm gonna give a wild prediction. I'm gonna go Peter Yan unanimous split decision. I don't think it's gonna be insane. I think it might be the same sort of thing as kind of Fig and Marino. I think it's gonna be a very even fight. I think it's gonna be a war, to be fair with you, because I don't think Peter Yan is gonna go in there to get finished. I don't think he wants to get finished by Aljamain Sterling, and likewise with Sterling. I think it's gonna be a split decision for Yan, to be honest with you.
Okay.
What do you think?
I did a little bit of investigation whilst I was listening to you there.
Yeah.
Pyotr Yan has 1 loss on his record to a guy called Magomedov, which is just so much Magomed in his name. But anyway, a great naming by his parents. First, I want to say about that guy. But he's 17-1 and had a fight in Bellator very recently, actually. And Magomedov's 1 loss comes to Pyotr Yan, who avenged that loss. Now, something that I find very interesting about Pyotr Yan that I heard someone say, I can't quite remember who it is. This guy is such a complete mixed martial artist, but if he was to fall down in one area, which is quite surprising because he is Russian, which we would expect him to be a good grappler, it would be his grappling. He wouldn't be as high level of wrestler or jiu-jitsu kind of guy as Aljamain Sterling. Now, not Aljamain, but something that I have to ask you, Milan. Do you think, realistically, you watched that fight with Corey Sandhagen? That's a lot of how this guy's fights tend to go. He goes in, he puts extreme pressure, he gets the takedown. Now, this guy looks like he's been in the gym. This guy looks big and he looks strong. Do you think that Pyotr Yan can evade takedown for 5 whole rounds against a guy that quick and fast.
I don't think he's gonna evade them. Like he's definitely. There will be times in this fight where each person will be dominating for sure, but I don't think Peter Yan, he's a fucking beast as well. Let's not forget about that. Although Aljamain Sterling is a fucking beast in his
Both
own
of
right.
them bring the pressure,
Peter Yan,
you know?
yeah, essentially. So if Aljamain Sterling thinks he's gonna bring the pressure, man, just remember that you're bringing it against Peter Yan. He's not gonna back down. He's gonna fight you on the back foot. He's gonna counter you with punches. He's gonna come back at you. He's gonna throw leg kicks. He's gonna throw those leg kicks, bro. Those are gonna be essential, crucial to him, to be honest with you,
You
because I
know,
think that's what's
Piotr
gonna.
Yan out in Piotr Yan's out in Thailand, I think, believe now, or China, or something like that. He's training, I believe.
So he's gonna go for those leg
Um,
kicks, get him tired, get Sterling tired.
getting his Muay
So
Thai up.
that's what I think, man. I think
It's a very, very interesting situation.
a nice fight to start off the 3 title fights with
100%.
the
Now,
next
next fight.
fight rolling in. Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson. A fight where you're giving Amanda
We
a
didn't
killer, to be honest with you.
know we wanted this fight, and we're getting it, you know?
That's true, and to be honest, it's actually
Megan
it's
Anderson.
a good opponent,
Boy,
very good opponent. Her last
a worthy
decision,
opponent,
she's
truly.
got 3 decision wins. Everything else is just finishes on finishes on finishes. Her last decision, well, I believe in 2018, I did
6
the
KOs.
research for this way. But she looks like a fucking baller, and to be fair, I think she might bring a challenge to Amanda Nunes, but again, I think Amanda Nunes is just too fucking good, and she's probably
I
just
think
gonna
Amanda Nunes
get this done.
wants to be considered the GOAT,
Facts.
which is something, and I think that, to be honest, Amanda goes out there, and I think it doesn't matter, because Amanda's going to go out there, I think, she's either going to knock this Megan Anderson
I
out,
think she's gonna TKO, ground and pound, round
or
3.
or she's going to submit her, because although they're like, although this girl, Megan Anderson, has never been knocked out, with that, she's 6 foot tall. Let's not forget that she's got an extreme advantage over and Amanda Nunes here with that leg reach, you know, and
But
she can just start
sometimes
kicking her if she really wants to.
that's
But
you.
those legs can be there to be taken, to be grabbed, and Amanda Nunes, a very high level grappler and submission artist.
Not only that,
Now,
Sean,
she,
if you're longer,
she's got that hands too,
yeah,
you know.
exactly. And what I was gonna say, if you're longer, let's forget, you got a disadvantage on the inside fighting. And Amanda Nunes, she definitely got those hands, like you just said.
She live on the inside.
I think it's gonna be ground and pound. She's gonna knock her down, ground and pound TKO, round 3 for Amanda Nunes. I think she's gonna go out to each of her fights, trying to prove all the people wrong, saying she ain't the GOAT. But to be honest, man, I see this, or she might have already gone. We'll see. This fight will basically show us her mentality, because obviously she's gonna be talking, oh, I'm the GOAT, and then lead her guard down, and then boom, she gets she loses pretty much. But
Exactly.
this fight is interesting, to be honest with you. It's an interesting fight to put the featherweight, the women's featherweight, on the map, pretty much the division on the map. Excuse me, and
Yeah, there's not even people in the rankings.
but still, man,
It's just
it's a nice fight to have. To be honest with you, for Amanda,
I'm interested.
it's a
I'm
fight
interested
for
because
Amanda worth watching.
yeah, 5'8" Amanda Nunes versus 6 foot tall Anderson. Like it's not like why we would watch the fight, because it's interesting, the height discrepancy, and obviously Amanda Nunes got that knockout power. Clearly, this girl she can swing, and she's fighting a bigger fighter who can knock people out. So it's going to be a very interesting fight. Amanda Nunes, you know, I think that she probably take this one to the ground and submit her, because she got that jiu-jitsu. She got whatever she needs to win this fight. She has it all.
Yeah, and pretty much that's it. What's your prediction on this?
I'm gonna go Amanda Nunes round 2 via. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say she. I'm gonna say submission.
Fair enough.
I
Any
don't perceive
particular
Megan Anderson winning
submission
this
you
one.
got?
She's gonna get a twister.
A twister, yeah. I'm gonna
No,
predict
no, no.
an uppercut,
No.
a Canelo style, right uppercut. She's gonna drop Megan Anderson and she's gonna hit her with 2 big bombs. She's already gonna like basically fuck her up. She's gonna go on the floor. She's gonna be rolled out, and then boom, boom, 2 hammer fists, and she's gonna walk around and basically win like that. That's what I think.
I'd be scared to fight Megan Anderson, to be honest. She's taller than me. Like, she
That's
probably
L,
has.
man. That's an L.
I think she has. Hold on, let me look. No, I still have the reach on her, but I got reach over this girl, but she's got the height. She's got the height on me. So, but I've got those lengthy arms. So, me versus Megan Anderson, there's only one way that fight's going. And that's me getting slapped in the first round.
Nice. Man, listen, the women's featherweight division eats you up for breakfast, man. Just saying. But anyway, let's get into the main event.
My old division eats me up.
Big main event. Israel Adesanya versus Jan Blachowicz.
Hold on, Milan. How dare you? It's Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya. Israel is the challenger.
Listen, bro, I read that from right to left. Okay?
Don't you dare read from right to left. The champ goes first.
Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya.
Dickhead.
Listen, this fight is big, okay? Because pretty much Israel Adesanya, he is coming in to become the 5th double champ in this division. Which is kind of nuts,
the first
because
African one,
if you look,
I believe.
Since 2016, right? That was the first double champ. If this happens, then it means every year there's been a double champ, which is kind of nuts. 5, 1 for each year. But listen, Israel Adesanya 20-0, gonna try and extend his record to 21-0. But we're forgetting, man.
Milan, bro.
Blachowicz.
Milan, bro.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I would first like you to take a little bit of a different way at this one.
Go for it, brother.
I want you to tell me right now.
Yeah.
What you want to happen.
What I want to happen.
And how you see it play out from there.
What I want to happen or what I think will happen?
I want what you want to happen, and then what resulting fights come from that, etc.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I've got 2 ways of because I'm not gonna lie. I could envision Jan sleeping Israel Adesanya. I'm not gonna lie. I could see that happening because I saw a clip of Israel going on the back foot against Costa, and Costa was being very passive, but Jan would not do that. If Jan gets you on the back foot against the cage, bro, he's throwing bombs. And as we saw in the kickboxing fight that Israel had, although they were bigger gloves, still Israel is definitely going to be susceptible to that. If he gets touched by any of those hands, he's getting slept. But anyway, what I want to happen, I want Izzy to win this, and I want him to go into heavyweight and fight to become the triple champ. I'm not even going to lie.
Triple C.
I want him to be Triple C, although it is kind of bad out for the middleweight division because he's just going to hold him up even longer, and he's going to hold up the light heavyweight division. But I think that's what
I got to interrupt you real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Israel Adesanya said that his next fight after this will be at middleweight. He's already said that. He said that with Ariel today.
I will then.
That his next fight will be at middleweight. And now, for me, I'm gonna put out there my prediction straight up.
Yeah.
Israel Adesanya gets it done. I don't know how. I think Israel gets it done. I think Israel could finish Jan, to be honest. I think he will. I'm gonna say Israel finishes Jan.
Very light for a light heavyweight.
Exactly, just the same way.
193.
But the same way he fought Robert Whittaker and the same way he fought Paulo Costa, he can keep these guys away if he wants to.
True.
And unless Jan grabs a hold of him, which could happen,
Hmm.
then I think Izzy's going to win this one, and I think he'll win it quite convincingly to be fair as well.
Yeah, but
If what I want to see after this, as I said,
uh,
if I was going to go into, I want to see Izzy versus Darren Till.
Darren needs some good wins though, and
Darren Till needs
man,
to win. Needs
Darren Till
only to
needs to
beat
worry
Marvin.
about smiling Sam Alvey first because the disrespect that he's showing to Sam Alvey is actually quite disgraceful. I don't even care, man. And if Darren Till, I know
The
you're
goat.
listening.
The goat.
I know you're listening, man. Those comments you made, yeah, were absolutely disgraceful, man. The man with the most perfect smile in not just sports, not just the UFC, man, on earth. When you search up smile in the dictionary, just Sam Alvey's face comes up, man. Don't disrespect the goat like that. And listen, I know you're listening, man. You'd get dropped by Sam. No cap. That lead uppercut is fucking.
Okay, Milan just left the call by mistake. I'm going to continue on, guys. As he was
Brother,
saying
no, 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 no,
before
no.
Milan left,
Listen,
he'll be back in a second. But
listen, brother.
Smiling Sam with those lead uppercuts.
That lead uppercut.
There he is. Milan's back now.
That lead uppercut.
Smiling Sam with
It's
those lead
over.
uppercuts.
It's over. I don't care. That pressure, Darren Till ain't gonna handle that pressure like the fucking guy that Sam Alvey fought last time. And I think he'd get dropped, to be honest with you. That's my prediction for the fight. That is probably not gonna happen because Darren Till is scared of Sam.
That's the fight we all want. Darren Till versus Smiling Sam Alvey at middleweight.
Big fight, but obviously Sam
For the belt. For the empty belt. For the vacated middleweight title.
But listen, Sam got a whole fight planned out for April, but we'll talk about that more in depth towards his next fight. But listen, as I was saying, as you were saying, you want Darren Till to fight Izzy. Nah, he needs bigger names. Realistically, I want Izzy. I want, in a perfect world, I want him to win this. He's cleared out the middleweights. Like he's done what Usman did as well. He basically cleared out his whole division. I think he's gonna try and do that for the middleweights. He's already done it pretty much. I reckon he's gonna try and fight a couple times in light heavyweight. Basically, keep fighting until like someone beats you. And then he's gonna go for that John Jones fight. But I think he said
if John Jones is the heavyweight
he
champion.
said himself December 2021 is like the target date for him to fight John Bones Jones. But my prediction.
The thing is, though,
my prediction for this, I'm not gonna lie. Oh man, I could, like, listen. I'm gonna say here, yeah, because I want this documented. But I could see Jan clearly, like, fucking stopping Izzy. Like, I know that if I see that happen, I won't be surprised as I was with Connor. I'm always gonna use Connor as an example for every single fight now because that just invoked emotions in me that were like, bro, what? But I wouldn't be surprised if Izzy gets slapped. But again, man, Izzy's too good. Izzy's too elite. Like, I can't be doing that to Izzy. You know, I can't disrespect him like that. But again, I'm not gonna let him look past Jan. The guy has been on a tear, and realistically, the only reason he has is because he found the dead guy hanging in the Polish forest, and he touches the rope for good luck. Ever since then, he's been 8-1 in the UFC, and he's the champ. So, and he made a bracelet out of that rope as well, Sean. So now the curse is basically over. He fucked up the curse now, and now Jan's gonna lose because of that. But listen, man, I think Izzy's gonna get this done, and you know what? I'm gonna say round three or four stoppage for Izzy. That's what I think is gonna happen. I think it's gonna be a same kind of finish that he had on Whittaker, leaning back, because I think Jan's gonna definitely get a bit too greedy here. He's gonna go in with those fists like he did for Dominic Reyes.
You know what though?
Leaning back, fucking left hook on Jan's chin, drops him. That's what I think.
That leaning back though, he seems to get caught when he does that, and if he gets caught we could easily. I don't know why I just thought of this. Imagine we saw a double KO.
If we see a double KO, man, that'd be nuts, to be honest with you.
I might bet a fiver on a double KO.
Oh man, come on, don't waste your money like that. Don't waste
I
your
might
money
put
like that.
€5. Because imagine Izzy leaning back and then that Polish power on the chin. Boy,
Does he have the reach actually? Who has the better reach? Because if oh well,
Izzy's
then
six
don't
four.
put it on. Man, don't do that, man. Come on, don't. If Jan
Well,
had the bigger
no, I'm
reach, then definitely put the fiver. But bro, don't do that, man. But again, watch it happen because I said it won't. But man, those are my predictions for the whole card. All the fights that we've covered so far.
yes, sir. These are,
I don't wait. Did
I
I
think
make a
Israel
prediction?
Adesanya
I did make a prediction for the prelims
round
actually.
3.
Askar Askarov gets it done. Unanimous decision. He dominates Joseph Benavidez, and Dominic Cruz hopefully gets the unanimous decision against Casey Kenny as well. I think these guys got something to prove for the bantamweight and flyweight division. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I'm gonna skim through them too real quick. I'm gonna say of the ones in the early prelims, I'm gonna say that everyone stays undefeated, just because I don't really know any of these guys that well. Jordan Espinoza, Tim Elliott. I heard of Espinoza. I'm not quite sure I don't know them either that well. I'm gonna say that Jordan Espinoza gets it done. I don't know anything about either of them, but let's say that for the fun of it. Definitely be watching that fight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Joseph Benavidez takes a fat L. I'm gonna say Dominic Cruz gets it done. I'm gonna say it's gonna go 3 rounds unanimous. No, I'm gonna say split decision maybe. And for the main card, I'm gonna say, as I'm gonna reiterate, Thiago Santos is gonna take this one, I think, via KO. Islam Makhachev via decision or submission. Piotr Jan versus Aljamain. I'm gonna put this one down. I'm gonna say an Aljamain Sterling is gonna get a submission.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna just put it there. I'm gonna just put it out there. I'm gonna put it out into the universe.
Okay.
Amanda Nunes submission, and an Israel Adesanya show is gonna be put on for us. And what's gonna happen here, my guy? Izzy is gonna put this man down in the second.
Second, yeah. I'll say third then instead. But I'm not gonna lie again, to that Peter Yan fight, I definitely see Aljamain winning this as well. Like I can see, I can envision him a stoppage. But again, that's the reason why they're both like the same. But just to make it interesting, which
Yeah.
you're gonna go Aljamain Sterling. I'll go with the original. I'll go Peter Yan. I forgot how I say he's gonna win, but split decision, right? I said yeah. I'll just go with Peter Yan there. But basically, that's it for the this podcast, pretty much. Our longest podcast yet. A nice little 4 special. Obviously, the next one is going to be pretty depressing, considering that next week was meant to be Leon Edwards versus Chimaev. But again, shout out Chimaev. Focus on recovery, bro. You'll be back stronger than ever. But listen, guys, we appreciate it. The love you've been showing for the last 3 podcasts. You know, they've been actually doing pretty well in views. So, listen, man. Keep those likes up. Shout out to the UFC. Shout out to you guys.
Get your fight pass. Get your fight pass in order. By the pay-per-view this weekend.
Yeah.
This has been all from us. Thank you for watching, for liking. If you guys enjoy the content, drop a comment down below. And yeah, I have been Sean. He has been Milan. And this has been the 4 Podcast.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it. See you.